Okay, the worst place to make this video, but this is another dev helpline, and I hope you can hear me. I'm where am I right now? Where am I? I am at the main temple in Asakusa in Tokyo. I don't know the name of the temple. I'm not a historian and I'm not a weeaboo, so I don't think. Anyway, so this video, it's I'm helping out this guy. He sent me a message, so I'll read it now. Let me read the message. He needs help. Okay, let's read the message right now. He goes, okay, so just a background. I think he's from Argentina, and he's around 25. And I was wondering what my options are to move to Japan. I don't have a bachelor's degree so far. He thinks there's only two options. Option one is study for October's ITPEC and go to Philippines to take it. Then I would have to wait at least 2 months to get the certificate and start job hunting in Japan. I'll need to travel to the Philippines, then go to Japan until I get the certificate, which takes around, I think, 2 months to get after you've taken the exam. And then go go back to my home country. And he thinks both would be expensive. Yes, I think both are expensive. And then the option number 2 is get a working holiday visa for 12 months in Japan, live there, study Japanese, and prepare for the ITPEC there. And would be cheaper since it's Japan to Philippines in terms of the flight. Yeah. The thing is, I think you exit the country, you lose your visa. Yeah, that part you better double check. You don't want to lose your visa if you exit your country on a working holiday visa. I'll double check and I'll put it into the description whether that's possible to leave Japan on a working holiday visa and keep it when you come back. Maybe someone in the comment section can say. So then the last part was, next part is, do you know someone that could hire me with a working visa? Okay, and then he goes, what would you recommend? Would it be wiser to stay here and study, here in his home country, stay here and study, then go, or just get a working holiday visa and move to Japan? And he goes, I'm scared I won't be able to find a job. I do have some savings. Okay, this is quite a bit to go through, but I think the situation this guy's in is a lot of people in my channel, my Discord, have a similar type of situation. So let's break it down. So let's start first with the ITPEC certificate. And for those who don't know, there is a certificate you can take which will allow you to work IT in Japan. For those who don't have a degree to get a visa, because you need to get a working visa, you need a degree in Japan and many other countries too. So I'll start off with that. That test is, I just quickly read through it and also watched the video of a foreigner a German guy who did it. I think he's German, and I'll link that in the description. But you basically twice a month, so every 6 months, there's a test you can take, and that test is more or less a engineering test, and it tests you for basically your 3 or 4 year computer science degree. And there's 3 types of tests, but the hardest one's probably the one you want. So if you take that test, when you come to Japan, you can get a working visa, and that's what everyone wants, right? To live and work in Japan. So the problem here is when to do it and how to do it, and especially this is the part he's from Argentina, so he can get a working holiday visa, and that working holiday visa you can use once up to the age of like 30. I think the age is increasing, and I got to Japan too started off with a working holiday visa. So in his case, this is what I would recommend him to do. I would recommend you, because there's another part which you don't have, is I'm pretty sure he didn't say, but a level of Japanese. So what level of Japanese? So if you can say N2, N3, or N4, whatever. So I would recommend to him, because he's still young, 25 is still young, right? So you have like a year or two to plan this out. The worst thing you do is you come here and you try to rush everything while you're here, which like you can do, I think you can do it, but you could make it easier for yourself. Personally, if I was 25, again, when I was 25, I was a piece of garbage. But when I was 20, if I were 25, I would just come and do it all. But I don't think, but if I'm giving you advice, I can't say that it's a good thing to do. So what I recommend, okay, finally get into the recommend part. In your country, you can save up money still, right? Live with your parents or live with family members. You have a job in IT. You have the skills. So save up, let's say, 6 months of living. And that 6 months of living would be around, like I made in my previous stream, like you can do it for around like €1,000 a month. And there's plenty to live and prepare yourself in Japan on a working holiday visa. So save about 6 months worth of rent and living. So 400, 500 euros for rent, share house, 400 or 500 euros a month for food and things like that. You've saved up that money, and also that's the number one thing. Number two is you have, honestly, I think you should come here with N3, Japanese level. Because if you're going to be here for 1 year working holiday visa, you want to have a Japanese level where if you jump into a job, you can, I mean, it's going to be really hard because you can't understand everything, but you can communicate somehow, you know? And having that N3 would make it so that in the 1 year you're living in Japan on your working holiday, you can get your N2. And that would just, if you have N2 and you have IT skills, like you're set, you're good to go. You can jump into a pretty good company, and it could be a foreign company as well. So save up for 6 months. If you can, if you can't, 3 months, you just got to do it. You just got to try something. Get your N3. You're still young, you're 25, you have time. So get your N3. The next one is so this is how we do it. Okay, this is the tricky part. You'd have to go to the Philippines to take the test. And then you get a certificate 2 months after, if you pass. This is the part, if you pass, which I don't know how difficult it is. And I don't know what skill level, how much of computer science you understand. So you need a few months to prepare for that. And as the guy said in that video about the test, that there's actual official books you can buy and study about. So you get I would recommend this way. It's still a little risky, but you want to hedge your risks a little bit. I would apply for first I would get N3. I know this sounds really harsh, but I would get N3 in your own country. Continue working your job and updating your skills. And then once you get your N3, or just before you pass the test for N3, you apply for a working holiday visa. The working holiday visa, which I believe I talked to the last guy, a French guy, you would obtain it, and then it will be in effect once you arrive to the country. So you can get it, and then 6 months, up to 6 months later, go to Japan, right? That means that once you land in Japan, you can start your 1 year working holiday visa. Okay, makes sense? And then that 6 months before is when you should take the test in Philippines. So you'd fly to Philippines first, take the test, you wait in Philippines for 2 months until the test is, until you get your certificate for the test, because, you'd get it 2 months after. 2 months after, because you can get a 90-day tourist visa into the Philippines from Argentina, which I believe is true, like many other countries. So you stay in Philippines for 2 months and a bit, and it's a lot cheaper, I'm guessing, it's a lot cheaper than Japan. So when you're in Philippines, you've got your working holiday visa prepared, you've got a few months savings, at least 4 months, and then you have at least 4 months savings, you have your N3, and your working holiday visa will be effective once you arrive in Japan. And you have your certificate, so that 1 year in Japan is you're just trying to find which company suits you the most. And in terms of like, if someone were to hire you on a working holiday visa, I've never heard or experienced that someone won't hire you because you're on a working holiday visa. Legally, you're allowed to work. I think when I started like 12 years ago, there was a limit on how many hours you can work per week. Students I think now students can only work 28 hours a week, but I'm pretty sure now working holiday visas have no limit in terms of time. So once you arrive here, you already have N3. You can just, you can do the basics of Japanese. You've got your certificate ready, and you just go mad crazy trying to find anyone who can listen to you and give you a project. You might be surprised that like 50% of them want you, because you're here, you have N3, you have your certificate ready, and you just let them know that you have a certificate ready. So that's my recommendation. I hope that answers everything. You fly to Philippines, you take the test, then you fly directly to Japan. Then 2 months later, you'll get that certificate. So you just come here and you apply for jobs saying, I've got that certificate. Okay, Taran, you're lying, but okay, come on, just tell them you've got the certificate, which allows you to work here. And then you come here with a few months of savings. You study your ass off of Japanese level N5, N4, N3. In 6 months, you study your ass off. And you just apply like crazy, and you live the cheapest, dirtiest life you can ever live with like the cheapest. Now, I'll link you some really cheap ass places where you can live, and you eat cup ramen and all types of trash until you find your first job. That's like the emergency version, the balls to the walls, sink or swim. But the problem here is then that if you don't get it in your first 1 year, you've kind of messed up your opportunity because you can't come back on a working holiday visa. And being in Japan is much easier to get a job than not being in Japan. Whether you're on a tourist visa or whether you're on a working holiday visa. But of course, working holiday is the way to go. So, yeah, that's all I've got to say about that. And you can come here and enjoy this. Okay, I'm in a quiet area. But anyway, so that's my recommendation for this engineer, and if you guys agree or disagree or any thoughts about that, I know a lot of people out there don't have a degree but have all the skills, so yeah, if that's what you're into, if you like this stuff, my LinkedIn and Discord is on the description below, and yeah man, I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Gotta go back to work. Traveling is expensive. Oh yes, and DM me your situation, and I can make this type of video of recommending what to do with your life in IT in Japan.